Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are analyzing the new Sturgill Simpson record, Sound and Fury. This is the fourth studio album from the American singer-songwriter and country artist Sturgill Simpson. I was first introduced to this artist back in 2016 with his record, A Sailor's Guide to Earth, which went on to win Best Country Album of 2017 at the Grammys. A number of tracks from there I still listen to this day. I absolutely adore Call to Arms and the Nirvana cover of In Bloom. This new record here, though, Sound and Fury, was released through the Elektra Records label on September 27th, 2019, and oddly enough, this album is accompanied by a Netflix original dystopian anime film written and produced by Simpson. Actually, to be inspired for many of the lyrics, Simpson noted a lot of Eminem influence, and he also got his band to travel to Japan in order to produce their anime film, and also just to get the creative juices flowing for the production choices of the album. And what is it that we get with Sound and Fury? Well, it's a lot of distortion and really weird genre fusing of funk, disco, rock, and country. A lot of weirdness is strung together by a loose concept of a car radio. If you look closely at the album artwork, you can see what I'm talking about. There are some FM and AM dials to a radio that's bolted onto the front of the car. And noticeably bookending this album, we can hear a race car starting its engine and speeding off into the distance. In the middle of this record, however, that's where we get quite a few abrupt endings to some songs, almost like there is some switching between radio stations during this car ride that we get to go on. The opening track, Ronin, is an instrumental, psychedelic experiment that is very heavy and sludgy. It opens up this album on a compelling note, and it just grips the listeners. From there, we transition into the second track, Remember to Breathe, which has a strangely similar sounding Black Keys, It's Up to You sampled whistle in there. We have a hypnotic bass line, and it's one of those tracks on this album that has one of those abrupt endings I was talking about. We head into the track Sing Along, which is one of my favorites on this record. We have what sounds like psychedelic disco country. That's the best I could do to describe what I'm hearing. We have quirky, abrasive sound play between guitars and synthesizers, and the song is based on 12 Bars blues, yet it's still impressively novel. There's another track on this album that is also revolving around the 12 Bars blues, but it's more in a straight 4/4 time. The track is called Best Clockmaker on Mars, and this one has a lot of high squealing metal-inspired guitars, almost a bit of a new wave of British heavy metal influence, a tad repetitive with its musical ideas, but still skillful and full of talent. This album doesn't stop there with the weirdness. It kind of jumps into the deep end with a track like A Good Look. We have elements of funk being thrown in with bass and upbeat drums. Still, it is classically country with its improvised guitars and cadence of vocals. It's just one of those tunes that I keep coming back to, and it doesn't sound like country to me, which is tripping me out. Moving on to another favorite track on this record of mine, we have Make Art Not Friends. This is the second longest track on the album. I'm speechless with this one because we have ambient and electronic elements being put on this track, almost like Deadmau5-esque synth lines piercing through the intro before we steam ahead with a Dire Straits style guitar hook. I just love how the synths and guitars clash against one another on this track. Slowing things down, this album can be versatile, at least from the instrumental and sonic standpoints. The cut, all said and done, slows down the tempo with these eerie synthesizers and auxiliary percussion that pop onto the track. We have what sounds like the closest thing we can get to country on this record. Kicking things back up a notch, we have the track Last Man Standing, which has a roar on the dance floor style beat. Mercury in the Retrograde keeps things groovy with another interesting track that is unique for its production of guitar, with also a compelling mix of strings. And then we close out this record on Fastest Horse in Town, which has many loud and crunching guitars in its intro. The takeaways from Sturgill Simpson's Sound and Fury for myself, I would say it's not reinventing the wheel, but it is still a solid album that amalgamates a whole lot of scuzzy forms of rock and country. My biggest issue with this album comes down to the vocals. I feel like they are fixed and stagnant. Nothing much is really changing on that front. Some tracks do feel a little similar to each other. I feel like I'm getting the case of deja vu every now and again. But at the end of the day, I am compelled to listen to the sludgy and distorted synthesizers and guitars on this release. I'm feeling a 7 out of 10 on the Sturgill Simpson release. Not quite as good as his 2016 album, but I'm gonna take what I can get. Sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you think of this music. Agree or disagree, I'm here to engage with you guys. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a rockin' day.